This is the Mormon Mixed Faith Marriage Podcast with certified life coach Brooke Booth, episode number 103. Okay, we're talking general conference. This should post probably just after this fall conference this year. I realized I didn't have a general conference podcast episode, or if I did, it's time to update it. So here you go. I'm kind of enjoying the fact that I'm recording this podcast on the 25th of September. You may or may not know that this is also Yom Kippur. This matters only because we live in a school district, so they get this day off. My kids are home. And I'm just saying, if you hear some funny noise in the background, it's because I am not a professional podcaster. I am a professional life coach who has a podcast. And sometimes I have noise in my background. But I also love I'm recording a podcast on General Conference on Yom Kippur. This is the type of thing that just delights me. This is exactly who I am. Okay, let's talk about General Conference. Twice a year, we meet and hear counsel from our prophets. I'm sure you're familiar with this. When you were in the same faith marriage, I'm just going to take a wild guess that it was probably a great weekend to chill, to hang out as a family. Maybe you were one of those people who made cinnamon rolls. I was never one to bake a ton, but I was definitely the facilitator of conference bingo. I would definitely do that. Remember every 6 months we'd bring down this huge tub of Legos we had, like the big Legos. So they're probably not Legos, but Lego-like toys, and put them in the living room on the floor for the kids to play with to keep them busy during conference, in addition to conference bingo. And then we'd proceed to get frustrated that, because they were making clunking, plasticky hitting together noise. We'd proceed to get frustrated that the kids made so much noise playing with the Legos that I couldn't hear the speakers. Those are the good old days. Conference was definitely my weekend when I was active believing. It was a weekend that I cherished. I was filled, nurtured. I listened to every talk. I was a fangirl for sure. Then came my faith transition, and we were in uncharted territory, completely uncharted territory, where we went from, cuddly family weekend to tension and confusion. Questions popped up left and right. Does he put it on the TV in the main living space? Do the kids have to watch? Do I watch it? Do I leave? Do I take the kids with me? Do I ask him to watch alone? We had no idea how to manage and approach this weekend. The first years, he would watch in the living room with the kids, and I just gave them space and basically stayed in the bedroom or upstairs. And if I would wander into the kitchen to get a snack, I would often make a snarky comment and then feel ashamed and slink away. I can definitely have some memories of that happening. Today, some weekends, it'll come along and I won't even realize it's conference weekend. Maybe my husband will be listening in his earbuds. Maybe he'll catch up on his commute throughout the week. Sometimes I don't realize it's conference because I don't know if he's listening to conference or some book on tape or whatever's going on. And I'm not saying that this is the right way. This is not what I'm saying. It's just how it's settled here in this house. That's how conference weekend used to look, looked right after the faith transition, and then now looks today. It's probably very similar, very different in your house. Every family, every couple has different traditions, different ways they prioritize conference or don't prioritize conference. And so it's going to play out very differently for each family. So I want to address a few things about conference that you can use regardless of the traditions or the dynamics or how soon it's been since a faith transition. So depending wherever you are on your mixed faith marriage journey, wherever your family is, as far as age or self-development, any number of things could be going wrong. So whatever the dynamic in your home, I want you to ask yourself some questions. This is the most important question. What do you make it mean? So I'll give you examples. If they turn on the TV and watch every single session, what do you make that mean? If they ask you to watch, even though they know you don't want to, what do you make that mean? If they turn conference on the minute you leave the room, what do you make that mean? If they insist the kids listen, what do you make that mean? If they make cinnamon rolls, what do you make that mean? If you work with me as one of my clients, you're like, yep, that's one of Brooke's questions. You'll hear this question a lot. And what I want to learn is, what are you making the situation you find yourself mean about you, about your spouse, about your marriage, about your kids, about your happiness, about your autonomy, whatever. I want to know what's going on inside of you when conference happens. I want to know the meaning you're giving to the various circumstances and situations you're finding yourself in. Because this directly then impacts how you feel. And then how you feel directly impacts how you're showing up, how you're acting, and then the results that you create from all of that. That's why I want to know, what do you make it mean? Because I want to know how this is going to play out, what's actually being created here. And then I want to reflect that back to you and see if that's okay with you. So here's an example. If you make it mean he doesn't want to spend time with me, and then you feel alone, so you ignore him, don't offer bits of connection the following week, what's the results of that? And are you okay with that result? Or if you make it mean he doesn't respect this is my space too, and you feel angry, so you act passive aggressive, what's the result of that? Are you okay with that result? If you make it mean I don't have a say in parenting and you feel frustrated and so you complain and lash out, what's the result of that? Do you like that result? You don't like the result of your meaning? What else can you make it mean? What else is available to you? And this one's really important to me. That's true. That's true. What else is something true that's available to you that helps you create, like a better feeling thought so you can create a better result? It's not uncommon that a lot of the meaning we give to certain situations, especially around conference, actually hurts us more than helps us, causes more pain and more frustration than the other way around. This is where I like to come in and let's start playing around and see if we can reframe or at least question some of the meanings that you're giving so that you're not stuck with a bunch of painful results after conference weekend. So let's look at some of the meanings that I've already gone over. He doesn't want to spend time with me. You can reframe that into he's doing something really important for him. Now, I'm doing this based on my own feelings in my own body, but for me, that feels true. That's something I can believe. And it creates the feeling of understanding instead of earlier, it created the feeling, of alone. So when I feel understanding or compassion, I can easily go and do something that's important for me. He's doing something important for him, I'm going to do something that's important for me. And then that creates a very different result for me. Maybe I feel uplifted, maybe I feel edified, maybe I enjoy the day, maybe whatever it is. But I like that better than he doesn't want to spend time with me. It creates a better result for me. So that's what this is all about. I'm really highly interested in your lived experience and can we create better results for you, better quality of life, better internal quality of life and external quality of life. It's a better quality of life for me to feel compassion and understanding than to feel alone. Okay, let's look at the next one. He doesn't respect this is my space too. Now, for me, I can reframe that into, I'm happy to share this space, especially for something that matters to him. And then I feel generous. Proud of me for feeling generous. I act generous to myself by, giving him the space. And you know what else I do when I'm acting generous to myself, is I might bring it up in conversation in the next 6 months when things are kind of chill. And I might want to discuss how the two of us both used our shared space during conference weekend. And I might explore other ways that we can do that feel generous to both of us. And I like this, like the results of this, of feeling generous and having this conversation. I like the result of that better than the previous result. Let's look at the thought, I don't have a say in parenting. This one's one of my favorite reframes. I like to tell myself I have plenty of opportunities to parent. He gets to parent how he feels he should. I get to parent how I feel I should. And then I feel courage. I feel peace. I feel content. You know what I do when I feel that way? I chill out. I chill out when he's actively parenting. I chill out and I let him be the kind of parent he needs to be. And then I also take advantages of opportunities to parent the way I want to parent when they present to me. I give him space and time to be the parent he needs to be. I give myself space and time to be the parent I need to be. And I take advantage of those opportunities. And what else I do is I'm also way more willing when I feel chill and peace to have conversations with him about co-parenting than when I'm feeling angry because I'm not allowed to parent the way I want to. And those open discussions can really create a different dynamic for making space for us both as parents. So if you listen to this podcast before conference, question is, what do you make it mean, with whatever typically happens in your house, what you expect to happen? And you can go through these exercises and you can decide now, before it even happens, what you want to make it mean when certain things happen, so you can create the result you're looking for in your mixed faith marriage. If you listen to this after conference, is not a problem. Do the same exercise. What did you make it mean? Then how did you feel? And how did you act? And what was the result of that? And how could you reframe it and try it differently next time? Because here's actually one of the best things about conference weekend is it comes around every 6 months. Every 6 months, you get to practice this. You get to reframe. You get to refine. You get to dial this in. You get to learn from your mistakes of last time. You get to evaluate and you get to try again. I absolutely love opportunities where I get to get better and better and better, where I get to practice and I get to learn and develop and grow. And that is exactly the opportunity General Conference is providing to those of us in a mixed faith marriage. From this type of approach, I like to think of it as I'm totally going to figure this out, because I'll be able to keep refining and trying new ways of approaching this. I'll figure out what works. And so will you. You get to practice every 6 months. That gives you 6 full months to do your evaluation and learn and do your reframes and decide the results you want to create and how you can do that. You'll nail it. Give yourself time. Give yourself opportunity to do this work. And you'll be able to make conference weekends just as lovely as maybe they were when you were in a same faith marriage. All right. If you are like, Brooke, I'm not really sure about that. I think I may need some extra help. Totally fine. I got you. Go ahead and go to my website, brookeboothcoaching.com. Get my mini course, and you can start working on some things right now to help your mixed faith marriage. Or if you're ready for the big guns, get my full length online course, Loving and Strengthening Your Mixed Faith Marriage. You can start doing a deep dive into your mixed faith marriage. All right, wishing you the best.